Well, you caught me on day 2 of pressure washing the house and the deck and whatnot. Hey, sorry to interrupt. Future me here. I apologize for the sun-bleached whatever is going on with that video. I promise the rest of the video is not like that at all. Hang tight, it gets better. And it got me to thinking, I get done pressure washing, specifically pressure washing, and I am calm, it de-stresses me, my mind is clear. It just allows me to kind of zone out and focus on the back and forth motions. I just feel really good after I get done doing that. And it got me to thinking about the notion of active meditation, that I pressure wash, I do yard activities, and it's like meditation for me. It allows me to just calm and to center and to focus. So what I want to do is I want to give you my top 5 active meditations and how you can use them yourself. All right, so this notion of active meditation, I came across this probably about 5 years ago or so on the podcast of Tim Ferriss. And Tim Ferriss, if you've never checked out the Tim Ferriss show, do it. It's a phenomenal podcast. But roughly about 5 years ago, he was interviewing Arnold Schwarzenegger. And Arnold Schwarzenegger was talking about how early in his career, he did a lot of traditional meditation. And it was really helpful for him. And I found it funny. He actually said, I mastered meditation, which I don't think is possible, but he says he mastered it. And the way that he meditates now is more in this form of what I consider and call an active meditation. So give this little clip from that podcast a listen. Let me know what you think, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about that after we take a listen to this. Check it out.
So, and the other thing that I've learned is that there's many forms of meditation in a way, because like when I study and I work really hard, where it takes the ultimate amount of concentration, I can only do it for 45 minutes, maybe an hour. But then I have to kind of run off and maybe play chess. And I play chess for 15 minutes, and then I can go back and I have all the energy in the world again and jump right back and then continue on with my work as if I've not done it at all the day, right? It's like I'm fresh. And so that's another way I think of meditation. And then I also figured out that I could use my workouts as a form of meditation, because I concentrate so much on the muscle, and I have my mind inside the bicep when I do my curls. I have my mind inside the pectoral muscles when I do my bench press. So I'm really inside, and it's like, again, a form of meditation, because you have no chance of thinking or concentrating on anything else at that time but just that training that you do. And so there's many ways of meditation, and I benefit from all of those, and I'm today much calmer because of that, and much more organized, and much more tranquil because of that.
So there it is. So he talks about using chess and using his workouts as an active form of meditation. And the way that I kind of look at this is it's something that we do actively, that we are proficient in. So for Arnold, working out is an absolute proficiency. It's basically like breathing to him. But it's proficient, but it requires a high degree of focus. Chess in the same way. He's a good chess player. He's been doing it for many, many, many years. But it requires a good degree of focus. So it's something that's active, that we are fairly proficient in, that we can do fairly easily without thinking too much, but interestingly requires a high degree of focus. So that's where the pressure washing, that's my first active meditation, is this notion of pressure washing. I'm proficient in it. Doesn't take a high degree of, I have to focus on the way I do it or anything like that, but it requires a high degree of focus, where I have to really focus on what I'm doing to get all the spots back and forth. Now, gardening also is a powerful, beautiful form of this in much the same way, is that, if you've been doing it for a while, you're pretty good at it, but it requires some focus and dedication to that. So outdoor activities, gardening, pressure washing, painting, those sorts of things. that is my first active meditation. All right, so my second favorite active meditation is backwards walking. I know what you're thinking. It's weird, but bear with me for just a second. All right, so like we talked about earlier, active meditation is all about doing something that you're competent in, but that requires a little bit of concentration. So simply walking, walking forward, it's competent, doesn't require a lot of focus. Walking backwards requires more focus, and it's actually kind of fun. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm a little self-conscious when I do this, and that's why I find a track to do it on, like I am here at a local elementary school. There's no one around, so I can get it done without feeling super self-conscious. But I'll do a few laps around the track walking backwards, and it really is a beautiful way for me to actively meditate. When I'm done with this, I just feel more free. I feel less stressed. I can kind of disengage, especially if it's a beautiful day like it is today. So it's definitely one I'd love for you to try out. It works for some, it doesn't work for others, but it's definitely worth a try. Give it a shot. All right, so my third favorite active meditation is active breathing. Again, a lot of these principles you're going to use within meditation and traditional meditation, but I really love a form of breathing called box breathing. It's very simple. There's not a lot of complexity, yet there's a degree of focus with this because there's some counting that's involved. So what a box breath is very simply, you're going to take a 5-count breath in. At the top of that breath, you're going to hold it. So as much breath as you can get into your lungs, you're going to hold it at the top, and you're going to count again to 5. So at the end of that 5 count, you're going to exhale again 5 seconds. And then in an empty breath, and an empty breath is when you don't have any air left in your lungs, and oftentimes you'll hear a little wheeze at the bottom of that breath. That's the way you know you're in an empty breath. And then in that empty breath, and this one's a little bit hard, you want to do a 5 count. So, and then you repeat that in, easy as that. So it's a 5 count in, a 5 count hold, a 5 count out, and a 5 count hold. Again, a beautiful way to actively meditate. And you can close your eyes in doing this, you can get in a quiet space, but you don't have to. You can, get home from work, park the car, and do 5 box breaths. And that's a beautiful active form of meditation. All right, my fourth favorite active meditation is using adult coloring books. Now, hold up. That doesn't sound what it sounds like. It's just that it's a little bit harder than a kid's coloring book. It's nothing scary, nothing bad. But if you type into Google adult coloring pages, they have tons of free coloring pages like this. And again, what it does is if you've been a kid, you can color. And it doesn't take this deep degree of proficiency, and it's fairly easy to do, but it requires some focus, and it requires some kind of concentration as to what color you're going to use and what works best next to each other. So it's this beautiful active form of doing something that you're proficient in, but it requires a degree of focus. So that's my fourth favorite active meditation, is getting in and doing a adult coloring book. All right, so the last form of active meditation that I really enjoy a lot, now I'm probably going to catch a lot of flack for this, but I'm going to say it anyways, is an app-based video game, or a video game in general. Now I know what you're thinking.
It's a screen, and that's not meditation.
And then, yeah, I get it. And none of these, I won't venture to say that any of these things are traditional forms of meditation. They're just not. They're active forms, and they're beautiful alternatives. I know a lot of people, and I talk to a lot of my patients who said, man, I've tried meditation so many times and I just can't do it. I can't get still. I've given myself months to try to get this right and I just can't do it. This is maybe an alternative to that. It's a way to help calm the mind and bring your body into more of a relaxed state without having to, get into those empty minds and things like that. So games, right? So I love playing little app-based games on my phone, and I do this in the evening time. And I don't do it for very long, maybe a few minutes at a time. But again, it's a way to actively work on something that isn't very hard, yet requires a degree of focus. So I like to play more puzzle-based games or strategy-based games. Now there's a couple rules. It can't be too hard, right? Because if it's too hard, you've now gone outside of the proficiency zone. It's active, yes, focus, yes, but proficient, no. So it has to be easy enough where you can kind of just get into a flow of it. Number two, it cannot be frustrating. If the game is frustrating, this is not qualification for this. So if you're getting frustrated with the game or it makes you a little bit stirred up, don't do it. That's not worth it by any means. But my fifth form of active meditation is video games. So that's the end of it, guys. 5 ways to actively meditate to bring your body into a state of relaxation and hopefully gain some peace and some calm and de-stress. So I'd love for you to try those out. Listen, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would greatly appreciate it. We talk all things health, wellness, and we have a lot of fun doing it. So we'll talk to you next time, everyone. In the meantime, live longer, live better.